Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing another currently inked. It's been a while since I've done one. I don't like doing these in quick succession because my currently ink pile doesn't really change very fast. I tend to have a lot of pens inked up, and if you have a lot of pens inked up, you don't really empty them out very quickly. And I'm doing one now because there's some pens in my collection that I've re-inked and rediscovered. And I want to show you guys. And I also have a lot inked. So I think there are 9 in my, I also call this unicorn barf, this color combo, in my seed case. I think it's a Knox Sinclair. I'll link it down below so you can find it online. And there's 3 like set pen slots in here, and then I just have the rest in there loosely. And there's space for notebook in here, but I don't really use small notebooks like that, so I don't have one in here. Anyway, I just want to show you what I have inked, and then tell you something about the pens. Basically, that's the plan for today. But first, we switch the shot. Okay, here we are with the knot case and the pens that are in there. I would say generally this would fit about 6 pens comfortably. You can stuff more in there, as you can see, but I don't think it's actually very good for the pens to do what I'm doing. They're all touching each other and micro scratches can happen. Now, I'm someone who sees the pens as objects that are to be used and not objects that are to be protected or revered in any way. So I just use them. And I'm not terribly worried about what's going on here. But yeah, let's start with the first pen. That is a Platinum Curado in clear. This pen has a fine nib. I haven't had this inked for very long yet. And I've been trying to rediscover it a little bit. But what I'm finding is that this pen is kind of too big for me. And when I say too big, it's too thick. It's very thick. But yeah, it is still a good pen. It's nothing against Platinum or the brand. But yeah, Platinum Curado. I'll zoom in for you. Platinum Curado. With a fine nib. The ink is Iroshizuku I don't know if I'm writing this right. Tsutsuji, which is the pink ink. It's lovely. It is a sheener, especially on this paper. This is Tomoe paper. As you can see, this is a true fine nib. But it's not terribly dry. It's also not terribly wet, but it's a decent nib. Close up of the nib. It's got a ink on it, and there's ink inside here. I haven't seen that before. Wonder how I could clean that, but we'll see. Okay, pen number 2. Sailor Angels, a delight. I've had this inked since I got it. Got it from my fiance and I love it. It's inked with Yamabudo, another Iroshizuku ink. Look at the different color on the grip. Sailor Angels, delight. With a medium nib. And Iroshizuku Yamabudo. This nib always feels a little stubby. It's not actually stubby, but it just feels like a very square nib to me. And not a terribly broad medium, fairly fine one. Yeah, this is almost empty, but it will probably be re-inked, so it's not something that can leave this pile. It's just a pen that I have inked. Then some lovely Pelican Glory. This is the Pelican M805 Ocean Swirl, and this deserves its own video, but of course I cannot not film it right now. It is so gorgeous. So my fiance was here a few weeks ago. He's from the States, I live in Europe. And he took my Renaissance Brown and he left this one. This is inked with Athena Eternal Blue or Maruzen Athena Eternal Blue. It's a fine nib, but by Pelican standards, so that doesn't really mean anything. It is a very lovely writer. Look at that nib. Gorgeous and big. So these pens are too big for me, but this pen, so pretty. It is basically winter here. I would say it's winter. And it's very dark, so I'm working with artificial light. This pen is best in sunshine. I hope we get a sunny day sometime soon so I can actually show you properly. Here we have a vintage VP. It's a faceted VP. I don't actually know how old this one is specifically, but these are different from the VPs nowadays. They're sleeker, thinner. They're much more like the decimal. And the clip is not as in the way as with new VPs. This has been drying out somewhat. I don't know what's going on with it. It might be that the trap door does not shut properly. So I have to coax it back to life a little bit. The VP has like a trap door that closes when you put the nib back in. So there's like a door that closes. If that doesn't shut properly, one can assume that the nib dries out a lot. I know it cannot really be the ink. So it must be either the nib or the fact that there's something with the trapdoor not going well. I'm just scritch-scratching on this paper right now, guys. Alright, Pilot, Vanishing Point, faceted. This nib unit does not belong in this pen, so it's not the vintage nib that is messing up. It's a broad that it took from a Decimo. And it is a Sailor Yamadori. And that is not an ink that generally dries out a lot. So I don't know. I think either the nib is just not protected from the air, or I should switch it back to its original nib. But yeah, I love this type of VP, but it's kind of annoying that it dries out because every time I have to coax it and get it working. And it's not like I left it for days. I actually journaled with this yesterday, so that's not the issue. Another Pelican, this looks really dark, but it's the Aquamarine. On this Aquamarine, I have a M400 nib. So it's a 14K nib. It's a medium, but it writes like a broad. So it's a Pelican M205 with a medium 14K nib. I've been putting shimmer inks in this pen because it handles it really well. And the ink is Dioptermentis. But what's the color? I think it's blue Columbia or Columbia blue with copper particles. I think it's Columbia blue copper. And it is just gorgeous. Look at that nib, guys. So stubby. So let's look. This is a medium, and the Angel's Delight is also a medium. I don't know how far I can zoom in on that, but it's like incomparable. You see that difference? So yeah, perfect for shimmer inks. And I would normally not put shimmer inks in a more expensive pen. I would just put them in Lamy Safaris or something, but this handles it superbly. This is the second shimmer ink I've tried in this, and it's just lovely. Pen that I recently re-inked is this Opus 88, and it's just one of my favorite pens. And it's such a nice user, like I don't worry about this. It's the Opus 88 Coloro. This is fine nib, and it is actually fine, even though it's a Western type of nib. It is inked with Monteverde. I think it's yeah, California teal, which is a green. I wouldn't say it's a teal, it's a green that sheens red. It's very lovely. Reminds me of Emerald of Chivor, actually, but without the annoying particle shenanigans. And Emerald of Chivor is unusable sometimes because it's so wet. Okay, here we have another Pilot pen. It is a custom 74, and this is one of my favorite Pilot pens. I wish they made a 74 in a piston filler, because it's just one of my absolute favorites. Let us ignore my dog. Let us ignore my dog and do a writing sample. This is a fine nib. It's a gold nib. I believe it's a 14K nib. It's quite a lot smaller than the nib on the A23, for example, but I don't care. It's just such a lovely pen. Let's see, position you guys. Pilot, custom 74, fine nib, and yes, this is a true fine nib, and it's inked with Cross Violet. One of my favorite purple inks. It's still battling with Diamine Purple Rain. Let me zoom in on that a little bit more. You can see it's an actual fine nib. What I love about this fine is that it doesn't suffer from dryness. So it flows well, and there's no drag with this pen. So yeah, and this is blue, and I'm pretty sure that doesn't show up, but it's the dark blue version of this pen. Okay, then a TWSBI Eco, the Golden Horse Festival Rose Gold TWSBI Eco. Still really enjoying it. It has a extra fine nib, rose gold nib, and I must say it's one of the best TWSBI nibs I've owned, and especially when you consider that it's an extra fine. And it's actually very fine. It's great. I have it inked with TWSBI Midnight Blue, which is also a lovely ink. So this pen looks full. It's definitely not full, but this ink really coats the walls of this pen. I kind of love that. I wonder if you have a lighter ink made by TWSBI, whether it does the same, but that would look super cool. Super cool. Last pen, and that is a pink pen. It is the Platinum 3776, nice lilas, and I love the 3776. I love the special editions. New special editions are way too expensive, but let's not get into that too much. This is a medium nib. So Platinum 3776 with a medium nib, and the ink is Diamine. I believe it's Robert, which is a very sheeny ink, but it does very well on this nib. And this is a medium nib, but it's a platinum medium, so it's a very fine medium. But I enjoy that. And I honestly have no idea what I'm gonna do with all these pens. I'm probably gonna change something with the VP because it keeps drying out. But I think I'll keep everything inked. What has been happening is that I unink a couple pens and then at the same time I ink some new pens. So I recently took 3 pens out of my ink stash. I cleaned them and then I thought, oh, let's just ink some more. So I inked these 2 and then I thought, oh, why not ink this? So it's like a cycle that I'm in. The pens aren't really suffering from it, so I guess it's okay to do this. Yeah, the only thing that needs remedying is the drying out of this vanishing point, but I'll get to that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you see a pen that you want to see more on, please let me know. Most of these pens have been reviewed, so you can definitely watch those videos. I'll leave them in the description. How many pens do you guys keep inked? I always wonder what is a normal amount of pens to have ink in. So yeah, please let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Before we actually end the video, this is the one who's been causing the shenanigans. She wants attention and cuddles and love, and she doesn't want me to focus on anything else. So yeah. Sorry about the barks, guys. Bye-bye. Oh, I love you. You're such a dork. You're such a dork.